So let me discuss about Lamprey's chromosomes. In fact, we talk about giant chromosomes, and giant chromosomes are of two types: Lamprey's chromosomes and polytene chromosomes. The Lamprey's chromosomes are found in primary oocytes of several vertebrates, some invertebrates also, whereas the polytene chromosomes are found in the salivary glands of dipteran larvae. Since these two chromosomes look very large in size, they are referred as giant chromosomes. But through this presentation, I am going to explain about Lamprey's chromosomes, which are even larger than the polytene chromosomes. The Lamprey's chromosomes were for the first time observed by W. Fleming in 1882. These chromosomes are found in germinal vesicles of large oocytes of many vertebrates like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and prototherian mammals. It is also found in invertebrates like insects and in a single-celled alga, that is Acetabularia. Lamprey's chromosomes are formed during diploid stage of meiotic prophase I due to active transcription of many genes. Let us see the structure of these chromosomes. In this diagram, the two homologous chromosomes are shown, and these two homologous chromosomes are crossing at several points. See, all these points are actually the sites where crossing over has already taken place, because we observe Lamprey's chromosomes during diploid stage of prophase I of meiotic division. So we can imagine that by this time both homologous chromosomes, they have already duplicated. It means both are represented by their sister chromatids. And the diploid stage that comes after Pachytene stage. So Pachytene is the stage when there is maximum pairing between homologous chromosomes, and actually that is a stage when there is exchange of chromosome parts between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. So since it is diploid stage, we can see the chiasmata. Chiasmata is a plural term and chiasma is a singular one. So chiasmata means these are the points where crossing over has occurred. Now, if you see these two chromosomes, they are seen in the form of two axes, and on either side of each axis you can see lateral loops are there. So these are lateral loops. Now, a part of this single chromosome is being magnified here to show that how the configuration could be. So a small segment of this lower chromosome, that is actually magnified here to have an idea that the single chromosome will be actually represented in the form of two sister chromatids, and both sister chromatids will make an axis, and on this axis you can see the chromosome loops are there. So each sister chromatid will form the lateral loop, and you can also see the symmetry of these loops. That is, if you consider the first one, the size of this first loop on one side is exactly the same on the other side. So this is because the same chromatin content of a particular area is being actually expanded. And if you see a single such portion in highly magnified form, then this lower diagram will give better idea about it. This sister chromatid, the upper one, it has formed a lateral loop on the upper side, and the lower sister chromatid has formed a loop on the lower side. So the loops are formed because it is a structure chromatin structure, which will actually undergo much expanded form, or it will get quite loosened, and that will be made available for the synthesis of different types of RNA molecule. So we can have idea in this diagram that this is expanded, lateral loop, and if you consider a single loop, it is made up of a single DNA molecule, means one DNA molecule that makes this chromatid. The other chromatid will be made of another DNA molecule. So a single DNA segment will be present in this area. Now, a particular gene located on that, suppose, if undergoes transcription, it will provide a specific type of RNA molecule. Exactly the same RNA molecule will be made available on the other sister chromatid also. Means the DNA content of this sister chromatid will also make available RNA molecule of that specific type. Similarly, two other sister chromatids of other homologous chromosome will also be there, and they will also be forming exactly the same kind of transcript. So you can imagine this way that 4 similar transcript will be available from a single point. Likewise, there are hundreds and thousands of such areas from where the RNA synthesis or transcription would be going on. So why such a huge amount of RNA is being made available during this stage? It is because we are talking about oocyte, primary oocyte. This primary oocyte will get changed into secondary oocyte. Then it will make oocyte, and finally it will form an ovum. And this ovum will contain huge amount of yolk content, that is protein, lipid and carbohydrate. Particularly the protein synthesis will be made available from the transcripts which will be available from the from such chromatin material. So since large amount of protein is required for the development of embryo, because egg means we are talking about future embryo. So that is why the entire chromatin or larger part of chromatin will have to be made available for the synthesis of RNA. From such RNA, ultimately the protein will be synthesized. So this is the reason that we could see chromosomes in quite a large size in the primary oocyte stage. Some of the points regarding the Lamprey chromosomes are these chromosomes are clearly visible even in light microscope, where they are seen to possess large chromatin loops extended laterally, and each lateral loop contains one or several transcription units with polarized ribonucleoprotein matrix containing DNA axis of the loops. And Lamprey chromosomes are useful material to study chromosome organization, genome function and gene expression during meiotic prophase, since they allow the individual transcriptional units to be visualized.